So, you want to grow locks, huh? You come to the right channel. Thinking about growing locks, I think you should watch this video in its entirety because I'm going to give you some information that may be vital in your decision on which way you want to go with having locks, all right? So I'm going to give y'all some of my experiences, what I didn't know ahead of time, and what I've learned over the years, because all of this, even though it doesn't look like it, all this is 4 years worth of hair. 4 years ago, I wish I knew things that I know now. It may have made my journey a little bit more easier, but the journey is the journey. It doesn't matter what road you go down. The first thing that I really want to talk to you about is if you're thinking about growing a mohawk, which is cool, I got a mohawk, or if you're thinking about growing a high top fade, which a lot of people do, or if you're trying to grow it from a temp, which is just this right here, faded out, and then the back of your head faded out. If you're thinking about growing from a fade, there's things that you need to pay attention to. I talked about in the earlier video about the COVID shutdown, where if you didn't have a barber during that time, or you didn't know how to cut your hair, or you had a barber coming to your house, you probably was gonna look really rough because your sides grew in. My sides were like a little fro. During that time, I didn't pick up the skill of learning how to cut my own hair, so I looked real tough. And that's what happens when you grow your locks from any type of fade, whether it's a mohawk or any fade at all. One thing that you really have to make sure when you do grow from a fade is when your barber is really getting close to your line right here, that fade in line. You got to make sure he doesn't nick your dreads. I'm gonna show you one of my dreads. My loctician told me this one is really thin, but it's not thin enough that she needs to combine it. But this dread here, if you can see it, is really thin. Like, look at that. She told me that she doesn't think it's gonna pop out, but she told me she was gonna monitor each time I get it retwisted. Let's see, you see how thin that is? I mean, it's thin, but it got a support at the bottom at the root. So it's not thin enough that it's gonna pop off, but you can see how I went from this all the way to that. And that comes from my barber getting a little bit too close, maybe nicking it. And each time he nicks it, it gets thinner. But that's the only dread that I have that's like that. All my other dreads along my sides, you see are thick still. You see thick, it's just this one. You know, he got a little bit too close to it and it started to thin out. And that's something that you gotta really pay attention to when you get locks from a high top or any type of fade. You gotta make sure that your barber isn't getting too close to your locks, because them getting close to that edge will nick it and it'll thin out on you. You have to look into combining it, or you may have to go higher up with your fade, and I don't think you really want to do that. So you might want to pay attention to all of the nicks. And I be feeling when my barber nicked my hair. You know, that's my bro. He nice with the clippers, but it's hard to be precise with the fade to dread. It's hard. You know, you're a perfectionist. You want to make sure that fade is just perfect. You want to make sure that fade is perfection. So you try to get as close as possible. And sometimes you may nick it a little bit, and I know when he nicks it because I can feel it myself. So make sure your barber isn't nicking your dreads, because that will thin. That is the quickest way to thin your shit out. I'm gonna also talk about my locks real quick. I have a bunch of different locks. You could say I'm like semi-free form, but neat. Like some of my locks are thick, some of my locks are thin, like the ones on the side. This is thin. This isn't thin because my hairline is just thin, but I got a lock that's thick right here. This, you see how thick this one is? I got thick locks. I got a thick lock here. I got another thick lock. I think, no, this one ain't. It's one lock in particular that's really thick in my head. I can't find it, but I have a really thick lock somewhere in my head. I think it's this one, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I think it's this one. It may be that one. And then I got some little ones, you know, like the ones I just showed you. I got this one that is little. So kind of like semi-free form with some of them. Some of them are thick, some of them small. And I like that look. Make sure whenever you decide to get your locks, you get the size that you want. You want to go sister lock, you know, those little micro locks. I've never seen men with those, but if you decide to get it, then I'm not against you getting that, man. I hope it works out. I'm not here to bash anybody for their lock journey or what type of locks they get, whether it's a fade or a full head or a free form. Choose the route that's best for you and what you like. Don't do based on somebody else. Do what you like. I wanted my hair like this because I liked it. That's the end of discussion. I don't care what nobody else say. If you want to get thicker dreads, in my first set I had 50 locks and they were all thick, and I like that. My second set, which is these, I was like, yo, I just wanted to be kind of like Bob Marley-esque. I know some of y'all might be like, well, Bob Marley don't got a mohawk. Doesn't matter. Does not matter. I wanted my locks like that. And no matter how it came, that's how I wanted my locks. I got mine like this. Wear is how you want to wear it, but just make sure that if you know that your hair can thin out, maybe look into having thicker locks. Maybe look into having less locks, but thicker. Like I say 50. If you got a full head of hair and you want thick locks, it's like thick enough for you to be like, to still get it styled up, but thick enough that you're just like, dang, those are some thick locks. I like thick locks, man. And I'm planning to combine some of my locks together to make it a little bit more thicker. I just like that whole some thick, some small type of look. But some people don't want that. They just want all small, which is cool. Do you. I'm here for you. I support whatever route you go. One other thing that I really want to talk to y'all about is the styling. And I kid you not, this is the most important thing. I don't get barrel braids anymore. One, they're so tight on your scalp and they pull your hairline back. Right in this area, I don't think you can see it, but right here, I have some traction pull going on, a little bit of that, but you can't really tell because my barber, he's a magician with it. Not on this side as much, but on this side, like right in this area, traction pull. And it happened because the last time I got my hair done, I had to get a style that preserved my styling for a wedding. And the only thing that I could honestly think of, because I just wanted to get a regular retwist, was barrel braids. Because once you take barrel braids out, you have that crinkle looking is fresh, but the mistake I made was getting barrel braids in the first place. I haven't had barrel braids in years, and there's a reason for that, because I just don't like it. I don't like how it pulls my hair. I don't like the fact that in the back you gotta have it undone like this in the back. You can't, if you braid it all the way down in the back, it's gonna be stiff on your neck and you ain't gonna be able to turn your head. It's just so much bull crap or bullshit. Excuse my French, but I'm just letting you know it's raw. So much bull crap with having barrel plaits. Oh, not barrel plaits. I love barrel plaits. Barrel braids. There's so much bull crap with having barrel braids. If you want to go that route, I say that you should get it within the first year or two of you having locks. I had that style a lot in the beginning, but as my hair started to get longer like this, I went away from it. I just started wearing 2-strand twists or barrel plaits. 2-strand twists, barrel plaits. Those are my go-to hairstyles. None of my hair has gotten longer, but that braid stuff, it pulls your scalp back. It's so tight on your head be sore, and then up here up top, you pulling this back, so your hairline might start to recede. Look, check out Lil Wayne. Lil Wayne, before he went to prison, he used to always wear his hair back in braids, and look at his stuff now. His shit was all ball right here. If you take any advice from me, when your hair starts to get heavier like this, 2-strand twist is the way to go. You're gonna like the way your hair looks when it comes out. Even barrel plaits. If you want that real curly up here type look, get yourself some barrel plaits. Get yourself some barrel plaits. And also in the beginning, I just want to tell y'all, like, keep your hands out of your hair. Keep your hands out of your hair. That's like the number one most important thing, because when your hands in your hair, you tend to scratch. You tend to try to twist your hair, and you can really thin your hair out by just constantly twisting it. Because I remember back when I was in high school, used to be boys used to sit in class all day and go like this. Oh, here go that thick lock. One of my thick locks right here. This is the one I was looking for. See how thick that one is? But it was these boys who used to be in class and they used to just do this all day. And your hair thins out. Man, I remember when their hair started to get longer, their hair at the root right here would be thin. And all this would be thick. I'm like, man, that's because you just sit around and twist your hair all day. When you get your retwist done, leave it alone. Leave it alone. I say get barrel braids in the beginning part, because it'll keep your hands out your hair until your hair starts to fully mature. But once it gets to that length where it's like heavy, go to something else. But again, I just want to come to y'all to let y'all know, if you're thinking about getting locks, I say do it, but make sure you have a vision of what you're going for. You know what I mean? If you really want to do the mohawk look, I like it. You know what I'm saying? I got a mohawk. There's a lot of people who've been reaching out to me who also have mohawk. I like the look. The look is raw. It's unique. When I have my hair up in a bun, people be like, oh, that's so neat. That's so artsy. That's so rock starish. I know that's the look I was going for. And then, you know, some people want to get the high top fade. I like the high top dread look. I personally love it. The tip fade dread look, I like that. The high fade, the low, man, look, I love all that. I think the fade look is dope, but make sure you're aware of what comes with that. The maintenance, you know, making sure your barber don't nick into your locks, because that's my number one fear whenever I get a haircut. I just hope that my barber don't nick into my locks, and it's not because he don't know what he's doing. It's just because he's such a perfectionist when it comes to making sure that fade line is faded in, and sometimes you might be trying to get it in and you just nick it. Luckily, I only have that one that's that thin, and I already knew that I was going to combine that lock a long time ago, but my loctician, she stated that she'll let me know if it's that thin and we'll just combine them, and that's cool. I ain't tripping off that. But make sure that's something that you are willing to deal with if that comes. If you don't want to deal with that, maybe you should just go ahead and do the full head, and there's nothing wrong with the full head too. I like that look too. Maybe a little later I'll do the full head. You just have to really think about what you want in the future, how you want your hair to be in the future, what will come in the future. Like, now you got to plan in, what if you know, the world shuts down again? Like, are you willing to go through that ugly phase? Because that phase that I had without a barber was terrible. not lying to you. So just make sure you weigh your pros and cons when you think about getting locks. Like, do I want a full head? And this is to my men, because women, I know some women who do got mohawks and all the other faded sides type thing, but it's not a lot of women who have that. It's mostly men who get the fade look, all that mohawk stuff. Just weigh your pros and cons. What will happen if I do this, or if this happens? What happens if my barber nick my locks? Am I willing to combine to get thicker locks? You gotta weigh all that in. And take it from me, man. You see, I'm telling you not to get certain styles because this happened to me. I'm telling you to think about this because this little dread right here happened to me. But I ain't even there. This one. Dang, I lost that one too. This one. Because this happened. I'm just gonna show y'all again before y'all dip. You see how thin that is? And then you see how thick the root, this right here is? This is how thick the dread was when I first got it. Look how thick that was. Now look how thin this is up here. You know, you gotta take all that into consideration. My name is Vito from Vito in the House. I just came here to show y'all this video. I got some comedy skits on there. A lot of people came over to the channel from IG because of the comedy skits. I see y'all. Hey, if you watch this, then this is for, you know, my people who came for the locks. I love all y'all. It don't matter if you came in for the skits or the locks. Please enjoy any of these other videos that you see on the screen. Check out another video. But until I see y'all in the next one, which will probably be in like a week's time, because that's when I get my retwist again. I want y'all to stay safe, man. Peace out.